Thanks so much for clicking on this channel. Welcome to Brian's Funhouse. We're going to talk about a little bit of punk rock, specifically early 90s punk rock. Good stuff, near and dear to my heart. Punk rock, of course, was formed in the 70s, endured the 80s, and came back strong in the 90s. Bands like Rancid and Green Day hit the big times. 10 bands that I felt like should have been just up there as much, whether they didn't get up there because they never signed to a major, maybe they didn't want to ever sign to a major, or implosions. A lot of bands seem to last from like 1990 to like 2000. That was like a lot of bands seem to just start and end at that time, throw it in the bag when 2000 came in. But anyway, the way I'm going to feature these bands in my little list of 10 is by the 7-inch. 7-inch was a very popular form for punk rock bands. You can get them pressed here in the States at United Pressing, I think in Tennessee. You could sell them at shows for $3, on the road for $3. I think pressing them costs between $1 and $2, so you're looking at $1 profit per one sold. Kids coming to the show were paying about $10 for t-shirts, about $10 to $15 for an LP. So you got a lot of kids going like, I already paid $5 to get into the show, I'm already broke. So a 7-inch, $3 was easy to sell, sometimes 2 for $5. So that's where I'm going to promote these bands. Punk bands from the 90s that maybe, if you don't know of, maybe you should go back and give them a listen. You can get all these 7-inches for real cheap. Searching the web, you know, so it's music that is easily obtainable. First band we're going to talk about is Pop Hoboken, formed around 87 in the suburbs of Chicago. They went all the way to about 2000. They had a few albums on Kung Fu Records, and earlier stuff was on Johann's Face Records here in Chicago. I'm going to feature them by playing their 1994. This is about their 6th 7-inch or so. This is a 7-inch from the Pop Hoboken. They were always, I always described them as a full ahead on train, dual guitar attack, snotty vocals, really heavy but pop punkish, and just a full-on attack of music. Always loved sharing the bill with them, always loved hearing them play. Let's listen to Pop Hoboken. So there you go, perfect stuff. Seek them out. Like I said, they have a few full lengths, all that kind of stuff. This other band formed, some would say Tennessee, but they officially became more known in South Carolina. They lasted from like 94 till around 2000. Like I said, a lot of these bands ended at 2000. They have a few 7-inch records and I think 3 full lengths. They're all pretty much featured on Johann's Face Records. There was an album label here in Chicago. Talking about Cletus. Johnny Puke, you may know him. He was in New York for a while. He's back in the Carolinas, but Johnny Puke was singing, snotty vocals, pop punk stuff, good stuff. Let's check him out. So yeah, Cletus, like I said, they have a few albums out, a few 7-inches out. Seek them out. Great pop punk stuff if that's what you like. Let's go on to some female vocals. This band Coed, formed outside of the LA area in around 97. They have 1 LP and 2 EPs. Their singer Kathy, to me, could be up there with the singer Paramore. They could be just as popular, but for some reason they just never broke it that big. This is a 1999 EP, and let's check it out. Look at that. Mine's autographed too. autograph. But yeah, these groups have 7-inch and stuff. It's such an easy way to check them out. We love vinyl. We love spinning on the old turntable there. So easy way to check them out. If you like good pop punk with female vocals, Co-Ed is the band for you. Next up is Gomez, not the indie rock band from the UK Gomez, but rather the band formed in Austin, Texas around 1993, which was before the other Gomez, but I do think they had to go to court with that other group and figure out who exactly was going to get that name. But to me, this was a no-brainer when I saw a song titled, and this is why I love punk rock, they always had silly songs and silly stuff like that. Kiss Meets the Family Part is a song. Let's listen to that right now. Kiss meets the phantom of the park. Kiss meets the phantom of the park. Kiss meets the phantom of the park. Our story is gotta fight, gotta win, gotta lose. If you wanna take me. So yeah, just fun punk rock. Gomez. To me, you know, you had your big punk bands. Why couldn't bands like Gomez make it just as big? Kerosene 454 holds the title. Whenever, like, on Facebook, you get, like, what's the loudest concert you're at? People are like, Kiss, Ted Nugent, Foghat. I'm always like, Kerosene 454. And a lot of people don't know. I saw them at Wrigley Side here in Chicago, a place that legally maybe should have held 120 people. You got about 300 people packed in there, young little punks in the early 90s. Let's talk about Kerosene 454. Formed in Washington, D.C. in 1993. They had a few LPs and a few 7-inches. They pretty much only lasted a few years, sadly. I think their last thing was put out in 98. This is from 1995. This is the 7-inch. Let's check it out. You can't appreciate the volume that band used to play at with just 7-inch, but yeah, check them out. Kerosene 454. Another band, let's go all the way up to Canada. Let's give British Columbia, Canada some love. Formed around 92. They just lasted a few years. This came out, this is a 7-inch, Seen It Coming. Came out early in their career. A band called M Blanket. Let's check them out. So yeah, you get that kind of Jawbreaker, Blake from Jawbreaker, scratchy vocals, just good stuff. And Blanket, why couldn't they be just as popular as Triumph? Or the Guess Who? Come on, Canada, show M Blanket some love. A band here formed in the suburbs of Illinois, and I tell you, I was lucky enough to see this band play, was lucky enough actually to fill on drums for one of their sets, even though I did not know what I was doing. Just like 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, here we go. And I could sing the songs in my head, but I didn't really think I was going to play the drums for them, but the drummer didn't show up. And I had the honor of playing for the Michiganas. I eat geeks like you for breakfast. The Michiganas had I think they have 2 full lengths out. A few 7-inches. They pretty much, their heyday was 93 to 2003. And let's listen to some of the Michiganas. Again, a band that should have had hundreds of people, no matter where they toured in the U.S., show up and appreciate the Michiganas, but it just didn't happen. Thanks, Green Day and Rancid. Took all the fame for everybody. Let's move it out to Maryland. This band, another loud kind of, I used to describe as emo, but today kids say emo for like My Chemical Romance, and all these other bands that, I don't know, to me really, I don't know, weren't emo, or they say screamo, or gmo, or bomo. I don't know, sounds all like clowns, I don't know. But One Spot Fringe Head, a band from Maryland, they had one LP on Merkin Records and a few 7-inches. This is a split from 1994 of theirs, and let's check them out. Again, a band like Kerosene 454 that you just can't appreciate the volume that these guys used to play at. Saw them a few times while I was on the road, and when they would come through here in Chicago, and they were just great. One Spot Fringe Head from Maryland. Alright, let's go back to sunny California, where all the bands were happy. Sunny California had Rhythm Collision. They were on Dr. Strange Records. They were on Fueled by Raymond, which is a lot really popular album label, indie label. From 90 to 2000 was their heyday. Let's listen to some Rhythm Collision.
Because there's something I was supposed to say. Yeah, I should have known. Yeah, I should have known. Still wonder about they sit around at home. They just don't wanna know. There's something in fourth place.
Again, just pop punk perfection, great stuff. Alright, let's close it up with a band that in the punk community did get really popular, but unfortunately they didn't play a lot, they didn't tour out, so they should have been way more popular. They did work with Lookout Records for one of their releases, but they just should have been so much bigger. Joey and the Boys, the Vindictives, a perfect snotty pop punk band. Let's check it out. So there you go, the Vindictives will close off my list. Again, 10 bands that I strongly feel should have been sharing the spotlight with bands like Green Day and Rancid. Thanks for watching.